Welcome to Pregnancy, Week by Week with Andrea. I'm Andrea Faulkner-Williams, owner and co-founder of Tubby Todd Bath Company. This year we are expecting our fourth baby. I know, our fourth. We can't wait to add another Tubby baby to our home. In the meantime, I'm working on being pregnant. I'm feeling the ups and downs and highs and lows that come with it all. I want to share with you the tips and tricks I've learned throughout my 4 pregnancy journeys. I hope you not only find them helpful, but more than anything, you remember that you've got this, mama. I'm so excited to be on this baby growing journey with you. Hi guys, welcome to Pregnancy, Week by Week with Andrea. I'm Andrea Faulkner-Williams, owner and co-founder of Tubby Todd Bath Co. And this is the first part of our first trimester series, and it is called I'm Pregnant, How and When Should I Tell People? So today I want to talk about this idea of finding out that you're first pregnant and all of the emotions that come with it. And how and when do you start telling people? Because that has caused me so much anxiety in all of my pregnancies. So my first tip for you is to wait as long as you feel comfortable, as long as you possibly can to tell people. And I learned this from my sister, Allison, who in her 3rd pregnancy told me she was pregnant around 7 weeks, but then told me we weren't allowed to talk about it. So even if you do decide to tell people, maybe mention to them, hey, you know what, I'm pregnant. I wanted to let you know I'm really excited, but it's not something I want to talk about every day. And my second tip is to tell people that you need as a support team in your first trimester. If you don't need someone as a support team, like your spouse or maybe your mom, your sister, your best friend, your neighbor, because you're feeling sick or you're feeling anxious or you wonder, what if I did miscarry? I would want these people to know. Then I wouldn't tell them, because if they can't be there as a support for you, then really at some point it's going to be wearing on you. They're, like I said, they're going to be asking, how are you doing? Have you felt the baby move yet? Have you gone to the doctor? Questions that might cause you anxiety. So unless you want them as a support team for your sickness that you're experiencing, or for an off chance that something does happen, which occasionally it does. And I always thought I would want my mom to know, or my sister, or my husband, or my neighbor to know, so that if I did have something happen, I would have a support group. I wouldn't mention it to people. I told people at work with my first baby when I was about 10 weeks pregnant. And it was because I felt really, really sick, and I felt like I was out of control and crazy. I don't think they really noticed how sick and out of control I was, but I wanted to tell them because I wanted people to know why I was acting that way. My dad always says, nobody's thinking as much about you as you're thinking about yourself. So that's like kind of a harsh reality. So if you think I need to tell everyone I'm pregnant because of this, that, and the other, you don't owe that to them. So my 3rd tip is to hold off on telling social media, large groups of people, your work, as long as you possibly can, even your extended family or your large family. I think that that is going to be long-term the easiest, less stressful thing to do, because once it's out there, it's out there. And again, not only will people be asking you questions, but it might start to make you uncomfortable that you told people too early, or that they're now telling other people. But if I didn't feel quite ready to share that publicly, then it starts to make you feel a little anxious. And the whole goal here is to be as least anxious about the pregnancy as you possibly can be, because your number 1 job is to take care of you so you can take care of your little one. Okay, so my 4th tip for you comes from people that you'll hear me refer a lot to. It is Jody Moore and Brooke Castillo and Jody Moore's sister, Natalie Clay, who are all part of the Life Coach School. I listen to Jody Moore's podcast, which I highly recommend, Bold New Mom. And she talks a lot about our thoughts and our thought processes. And one of the things you'll notice when you're trying to decide how and when you should tell people if you're pregnant is that it's going to bring up a lot of thoughts that have to do with fear or anxiety. Maybe you're worried about a past pregnancy or a miscarriage, or about a sibling or a family member and the way they'll react to it. Instead of pushing those thoughts out, I would get in the habit of writing those thoughts down, because you're going to have come into a lot of experiences during your pregnancy that have some uncomfortable thoughts you're going to have to work through. It's part of being a mom, it's part of being a human, and also it's part of dealing with all of these crazy hormones we're dealing with, right? So in that moment, I would lean into that thought and really ask yourself, write it down instead of going to someone else. You know, maybe you're feeling like, I have to tell all these people or else they're gonna be mad at me. Write that thought down, be curious about the thought. Is that a thought that you really wanna stand behind? How is that thought making you feel? What kind of outcome is coming from that thought? Because really, I think in the end, everyone is gonna recognize that you're just doing the best you can and you're trying to be the best to your body and to your partner, and you're trying to internalize everything that's going on. So instead of pushing those out or leaning into the anxiety that comes from these thoughts, I would really meditate on them and work through them on your own before you approach them with other people. Okay, I gave you 4 tips, and lastly, I just wanna say how excited I am for you. Regardless of what happens in this trimester or throughout your pregnancy or how many times you've been pregnant, you have come to know your body more now than you ever have in your life. So even if you weren't hoping to be pregnant at this time, now that you are, you have come to know more about yourself as a woman and about the life that's within you. And you will learn lessons that you would have never learned if you had not gotten pregnant. And I don't think there's anything more beautiful or more challenging or more exciting. And although it can be so hard and there will be tough days as you are trying to navigate this first trimester, maybe every day will be tough. Maybe you won't have any tough days, but maybe your second or your third trimester will be tough. You will come to know your body and you will come to know your emotions and become a person who feels more deeply and loves more deeply, and it will prepare you to be a mother to this little one and to love those around you. And I don't think there's anything more beautiful. And that is my favorite thing about being pregnant. Although there are so many ups and downs and highs and lows, and I wouldn't wish some of those on anyone, I would never trade any of them for me, because it has taught me to be a person who is more compassionate and loving in all areas of my life and to feel more deeply for others. Guys, thank you for tuning in to our first ever video, Pregnancy, Week by Week with Andrea. I am so excited for you. Congratulations, Mama, and remember, you've got this.